thinking I'ma build a skyscraper rise. Digits flipping on the screen, Wall Street in disguise. Freedom in my pocket, dividends on the climb. Portfolio popping, every dollar multiplies. Buy low, sell high, that's the battle cry. Green arrows pointing up, touching the sky. Money moves, cash grooves, we invest in. Freedom tunes, no change, just progression. Money moves, yeah, we keep it flexing. Freedom's the vibe, we ain't second guessing. Charts looking spicy, candlesticks be lit. Crypto on a rocket, but I'm hedging with wit. Options on the table, risk like roulette spins. Freedom ain't a gamble, it's a mindset win. Buy low, sell high, that's the battle cry. Green arrows pointing up, touching the sky. Money moves, cash grooves, we invest in. Freedom tunes, no change, just progression. Money moves, yeah, we keep it flexing. Freedom's the vibe, we ain't second guessing. Second guessing. Yeah, wake up, get sharp, Sarge bringing the heat. Discipline in the charts, markets in retreat.
Grow hard out, we wanna be. Step one. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Welcome to 2026, and it looks like 2026 is the year that President Trump is wanting to reclaim the petrodollar strength. So we'll get into some news articles about that in just a little bit, but before we get to all of that, let's hop on over to that stock heat map, because we got some movements going on with everything that's been going on between U.S. tensions, pretty much between the world. We've made some moves, and a lot of the world hasn't been happy with it, and we're doubling down on some of that. So let's hop over to that stock heat map and see what's going on this morning. We've got Apple sitting to the downside right now, down 0.15%. We've got Nvidia looking a little bit green this morning, up 1 0.18 so far. We got Berkshire Hathaway sitting a little bit to the downside as well, down 0.25. We've got Amazon looking a little bit green, up 0.36. We've got Eli Lilly down 0.91% this morning. We've got ExxonMobil, no surprise, up 4.29%. A lot to do with what's been going on. We've got Tesla up 1.71, PNG sitting down 0.11. It was up just a little while ago, but seeing some sell-off now. We've got Microsoft up 0.07. We've got Google up 0.22 and Meta sitting down 0.44. Let's get on over to the crypto side of things, because we're looking a little bit mixed over here as well, but we've got some nice green bubbles. Let's scroll it on down. We've got Bitcoin up 1.5%, Ethereum up 0.8%. We've got XRP up 2.1, looking a little bit red on that hourly. We've got BNB up 1.8, Solana sitting up 0.7. We've got Tron sitting to the downside 0.3%, Doge sitting down 3.3. We've got Cardano sitting down 1.3. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 1.4. Chainlink up 1.1. Still far off from some targets that we've seen at some other channels, sitting under $14. We've got Leo token up 0.3, Stellar Lumens down 1.4, SWI down 1.5. We've got Litecoin down 0.8. Hyperliquid taking a spot in the market cap from Avalanche, sitting up 3.5%. Hopping on over to those fear and greed meters, we are looking very neutral on the stock market. I do expect to see some of that change today as that market opens, reacts to some of what happened over the weekend. We do have the crypto side of things still sitting in some fear. We are making our way a little bit back up towards the upside on Bitcoin. We will get to that in just a second though, because we do have some liquidity sitting directly above us that we still need to come up and grab. Got to zoom this on out a little bit further though, but on the daily we've got liquidity on both sides of us. Some of this ranges all the way down to 90,500. We'll kind of have to see if we can hold some key support areas here. We have been bumping up against some resistance, which has built up some liquidity directly towards the upside at 93,500. We'll kind of have to see if we can get our way back up there, really grab up some of that. Zoom this on out. This 3-day really shows you that liquidity directly towards the downside after we got that move back up towards our top side resistance. We'll have to see if we can break above that resistance, really claim this liquidity that is above us. If not, we've got some liquidity back below $90,000. Zoom this on out. Take a look at that 2-week here. We've got quite a bit of liquidity that we've talked about towards the upside. We've grabbed up most of that here. Now we've just got that liquidity way down at the bottom. Zoom this on out. Really take a look at that 3-month. That's where we really see that top side here. We've talked about that liquidity almost up at $110,000. We'll kind of have to see if we can make our way back up to this range here of $108,000 to $111,000. That is an area I've had some interest at. We have been looking for a little bit of a sweep of liquidity towards the top side. Once we clear out a little bit of our current range, this is that area I really have my eye on. So we will see what happens as that market opens and all of the news really hits an open market here. We've got a little bit of some data coming out today as well. That'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We will get ISM manufacturing PMI, looking like forecast is up 0.1%, so not a big move on that one. I don't expect a massive market move off of it. Scrolling on down, we don't really have anything else. We will have to wait until Tuesday to start getting some more data, and we'll get to that one tomorrow morning. Getting over to this Bitcoin chart, let's zoom it on out to that daily look, and we will say good morning to the chat before we dive into this Bitcoin chart. We've got Rug Pulling Rabbit, aka Jay, first in the chat this morning. Good morning to you. We've got Kevin Hawthorne in here. Good morning to you as well. We've got UJ5K saying he likes the song this morning. Well, I appreciate that. It's been a while since I played that one. We've got Castiel777 in the house. Good morning to you. We've got Ella Cass in here. Good morning. We've got JR King Degen in the house. Good morning. We've got Eric Ballin Wallen in here. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's dive into this Bitcoin chart and see what's going on here on this daily. We have talked about some topside resistance before, and we are right back up towards that area. That was at 93,200 area. We saw our candle really start rejecting off of that price point. That's pulled from back here on that 4-hour time frame. We do have quite a bit of momentum here, but we're starting to see just a little bit of toppiness on this prime oscillator. We'll kind of have to see with market open if we can continue to get just a little bit of money flow coming on in, because we're seeing these topping indicators here on the daily on that prime oscillator doesn't mean we fully topped. So keep your eyes on some of that shorter term time frame. We are still sitting in the red in the money flow, but we do have quite a bit of volume here that has been buying up the market. So keep your eyes on this. If we do start to see some sort of divergence on that money flow here on the daily time frame, we could see that stronger push towards the upside. So let's get into this 4-hour, see what's going on, because we talked about that 4-hour resistance. This is where we really saw all of our resistance from 93,200 all the way up to 93,800 on this 4-hour. So nice little resistance area directly towards the upside. That's also where all of that liquidity is sitting as well. So we'll kind of have to see if we can get that continuation push in the morning to really grab some of that up. Here on the 4-hour, we are looking a little bit toppy, but we do have some hopium here. We've got some nice green money flow. As you can see, we got that break to the green over the weekend. We have a lot of volume as well. So a few signs that we could see a little bit of continuation. Would like to see a little bit of some cool off here. We have been holding our VWAP quite nicely, and that's an area to kind of keep your eye on here. Both of our 4-hour candles have closed on that VWAP, so that's an area to kind of keep your eye on for some support coming in about 92,500 area. Nice little bounce area to continue to see price move towards the upside on. Getting over to this 1-hour, we are starting to see quite a bit of toppiness here as well. We've got that MACD getting that second rollover, looking like it might be a little lower. We have also got that prime oscillator sitting in the green. We will kind of have to see if we can get some continuation of money flow on that market open. Looks like we've got a pretty mixed market this morning, so things could really go either way with that market open. But like I said, we've got quite a bit of liquidity towards the upside that we could see that price come up to in this resistance area. That stronger resistance would be closer to that 93,800 for a stronger rejection. We'll kind of have to see what kind of money flow we get with that market open. For now, looks like we might be seeing just a little bit of some sell off. We do have that lower high coming on in, and price is at that indecision point. So keep your eye on some of that short-term time frame money flow. See if we can get some pushes back up towards our stronger resistance. For now, London hasn't been able to get up towards those Asia highs to really grab up some of this liquidity up here. We'll kind of have to see if this toppiness really gives us another little cool off towards our downside. This is that this fair value gap we've talked about over and over before. If we cannot hold our VWAP at 92,500, that next real bounce area I'd keep my eye on, which would also clear out some liquidity, would be that $92,000 mark. Also gives you a stronger ability for some bounces, clears out that liquidity, and then we can clear out that liquidity towards the top side. So indecision point on those higher term time frames. We do need a little bit of cool off on the shorter term time frame. We will have to watch how market reacts when it opens this morning. We've got Steve Hickey in the house. Good morning. We have any alt requests before we get into some of the news? Go ahead, throw those in the chat now. I will get that list built up. We, like always, are going to go over some gold, take a look at some silver, might have to take a look at some crude oil as well. It has been making some movements. I see Pepe on that list. We got that one. If we got any other stock or alt requests, go ahead and throw them out now. Let's get over to that news article and see what's going on, because it looks like 2026 is all about the petrodollar at the beginning of the year. We've got Kellephant in the house. Good morning to you. She's asking for some Tau. We can definitely take a look at that one as well. Got it on the list. Trump warns of higher tariffs on India over Russia oil purchases. New Delhi. The United States could raise tariffs on India if New Delhi doesn't meet Washington's demand to curb purchases of Russian oil, President Donald Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One. Modi is a good guy. He knew I was not happy, and it was important to make me happy, Trump said on Sunday. They do trade, and we can raise tariffs on them very quickly, Trump said in a response to a question on India's Russia oil purchases. India Commerce Ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The U.S. doubled import tariffs on Indian goods to 50% last year as a punishment for its heavy buying of Russian oil. Despite the hefty tariffs, India's exports to the U.S. leapt in November. Encouraged by the improved trade data, India officials have maintained a firm stance against U.S. trade demands, signaling limited flexibility in areas such as agriculture imports, while the data shows India's oil purchases from Russia have declined. India is asking refineries for weekly disclosures of Russia and U.S. oil purchases. People familiar with the matter told Reuters last week, adding that they expect Russia crude oil imports to dip below 1 million barrels per day as New Delhi seeks to clinch a trade deal with Washington. We'll kind of have to see how this all unfolds. This ties into a lot of what we saw going on in Venezuela over the weekend, trying to secure our petrodollar, really seeing this be that secondary move towards that. Venezuela had a lot of threat on our petrodollar. You've also got you can't really handle Russia on the export side of things. So what you have to do is attack the importers of Russian oil. A lot of these countries that buy from Russia also sell us goods. And if you want the strongest economy in the world to be buying your goods, then sometimes you got to play ball the way they say. And this is just Trump's first initial push against India. We saw some of this last year. We tried to get them to the table. And if they want to replace China as our primary goods manufacturer, we will have to see them play ball. So keep your eyes on this. The story has just started up. The markets haven't reacted to it yet, and we could definitely see a lot more going on with this. Let's see. We've got a few other requests. Arrow, we can take a look at that. Pump, we can take a look at that one as well. We had a stock request. Sotokama Silver. Can you drop that ticker for me? That'd be a little bit easier. We got Noob Gecko in the house. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. And we've got the Rob side in the house as well. Good morning to you. Let's hop on over to some of these charts and see how the market has been reacting with gold and silver. And we will take a look at crude oil as well. Not too unexpected, we did get a little bit of a move up on gold here over the weekend. After everything kind of settled just a little bit, we saw the president of Venezuela getting taken out of office, and we got a little bit of a push above some resistance on gold here. We are looking just a little bit toppy on that 4 hour. could see a little bit more of a move towards the upside before that move back down towards our resistance area. See if we can retest that as some support for a little bit of continuation here. Your money flow and your volume are both in the red here on the 4 hour. Let's get this demonstration tool pulled up. But this money flow could very, very quickly see that visit into the green. It is very, very close to that zero line here. As you can see, it is getting a little bit of curvature and some sideways momentum right underneath that zero line. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that market open, see if we can get some money flow coming on in, give us a secondary push towards the upside before a stronger correction towards the downside. 4,382 is that area I'm really looking for some bouncing at. It has been resistance before. It was that all-time high here as well. Ranges all the way back there. Let's get that on the daily, see where that really comes from. Oh, I guess it's we gotta pull it up even further there. So I guess it's just the all-time high there. So there we go. We've got that all-time high that was our all-time high before as a resistance area to kind of look for some bouncing on support on. So hourly also looking extremely toppy here. We've got our money flow getting that roll over here. Let's get this pulled on up. Got that rollover at the zero line. We do have some nice green volume though, so we'll kind of have to see if we can get that money flow coming on in on that market open. For now, it is looking like it does need a little bit of cool off on both that 4 hour and this 1 hour here. We've got that lower high coming on in. We also have that higher low or higher high on that MACD. We'll kind of have to see if this divergence here on our prime oscillator gets played out with that morning market open. Kind of keep your eyes on some of that money flow here on this 15-minute. We are extremely in the green, but the sign that we're starting to see is your volume is starting to drop off quite heavily here. It's already switched to some of that red sell volume, so keep your eyes on that. We are extremely toppy on a lot of time frames, but that doesn't mean we don't get some continuation for a stronger top, especially with all of the turmoil that's been going on. So keep your eyes on that. We could get a little bit of a pullback towards that 4,382 before a stronger push towards the upside, or we could see that continuation towards the upside. Area would be about 4,470 to see that resistance and then see a correction. So that's that area I'd kind of keep my eye on either way, whether we get that pullback first or we get that continuation and then a pullback with how toppy things are looking. We also wanted to take a look at some silver. Let's get that one pulled on up here. Silver also getting that nice bounce off of a support line. We would get a little bit of some deviations below it on the shorter term time frame, but this daily is looking extremely nice. Let's get that zoomed on out. We got that reclaim of our 1618. That is what we've been looking for. We did see that come in as some resistance after we got a first little push off of our support line here. We'll kind of have to see if we can get some continuation off of that. We are looking a little bit sideways here on this MACD. Your prime oscillator is a little bit cooled off and sitting in the red, but your money flow and your volume are looking pretty nice here. Your volume is stagnating just a little bit here. We are seeing that curvature on the money flow, so we'll have to watch that shorter term time frame, see how market reacts. Normally when you see a little bit of turmoil, people go for some safety here. So silver and gold could definitely get a nice little push towards the upside, especially if we can see that market open with some strong money flow here. Let's get this pulled on up on the hourly. Hourly was looking a little bit toppy, not too unexpected after that little bit of a push towards the upside. Pretty much seeing that across the board for now. We'll kind of have to see if we get a little bit of continuation first, or if we get that cool off first and then that stronger push towards resistance. Hourly is looking extremely toppy, getting that rollover. Prime oscillator also getting that rollover. We do have a money flow divergence here. You can see that money flow is dipping into the red. Your volumes in some buy volume though, so we'll kind of have to see if we can get that absorption back around support, or if we see that 1618 come in as our support area. That's around that $74 price point. The 1618 is 74.16, so a few little bounce areas directly towards the downside give us a little bit of cool off on that hourly. We do have our resistance back up here at about $78, so that's that area I'd kind of look for us to push back up to after a little bit of cool off, or that area to look for that push up to before we see the cool off. So those are the two moves I'm kind of looking for this morning, whether we get that continuation push towards resistance and then see cool off, or cool off and then that stronger push up towards our stronger resistance area. Let's get that horizontal ray drawn on up for you so you can see it a little bit better there. Let's get it off of the equal candle body. So about 77.52. That's that area I'd start to look for some resistance at. Could get all the way up to $78 though. So nice little uptrend for now. We have been seeing on the shorter term time frames some lower highs coming on in, but nice constricted price action. We'll kind of have to see if we can get that pushback towards the upside. Let's take a look at that 15-minute, see what's going on in that morning. We have been getting a little bit of some cool off here with the sideways momentum. I would look for that stronger cool off with a push towards the downside though. As you can see, that volume has faltered quite a bit in some sell volume on the 15-minute. We have been maintaining this green money flow, so that's why I'd kind of look for a little bit of a bounce towards the downside. After a little bit of some cool off, we could get that harsher correction back towards the upside before seeing that stronger cool off though. So like I've been saying, we could get to push towards resistance first, or we could get that cool off first. Kind of looking for those areas of support and to see the bounce at, or the push towards our resistance, and then look for our support area. So really cooled off here on the 15-minute. Could get a little more cool off with some sideways momentum though. We have been holding 74, basically $75 here on silver. Could see that dip below, and that would give you that indication that you're probably going to see that push towards the downside first and then continue towards the upside. If you hold $75, look for that push towards 77.52 and then back down towards 74. Let's see, can you look at 1000 Pepe? We got Pepe on the list, so you can basically just take the TA from Pepe and that should work for your 1000 Pepe. I'm pretty sure that's just a denomination that they use on the trading platforms, so it's not so minuscule numbers. SMR, if we got some time, I can definitely take a look at that one. And then SOS I1, so SOS I1, and then SMR, got those both on the list there. Let's see what's going on with some crude oil, because we talked about that getting a little bit of a push towards the upside, not too unexpected after all of the turmoil that we saw going on. We did get that little bit of a sweep below our lows here. We'll kind of have to see if we can get this a break above our resistance line here and then see that continuation towards the upside. Let's get this pulled on up on a higher term time frame and see what's going on, because we do have some resistance directly above us to kind of keep your eye on. We have been in a little bit of a downtrend here for a while, looking for a little bit of a break above 58.95 to see that stronger push towards the upside. We'll have to see how market reacts this morning, because we did get quite a nice push on some of these oil stocks. Could indicate a little bit of a push towards the upside on some crude oil. We'll kind of have to see how this all plays out, because we are seeing some sell volume here, but we are seeing that money flow at an indecision point. Kind of hard to see here. Let's get it zoomed on in just a little bit. As you can see, it's very, very close to breaking that zero line. So if we can see that break above our zero line here on the daily time frame, could really get that stronger push up. Last time we did that, kind of same area, and we got that push back towards our 50% line on our fib retracements here. So crude oil could get some strong movements with everything that's been going on. We are sitting in some red money flow here on the hourly. You've got some nice buy volume that's been coming on in. Let's get that zoomed out there. There we go. We got that buy volume starting to come back in. You are seeing your money flow looking like it's extremely bottomed here. So kind of seeing if we can get that pushback in on market open. We do have that resistance, like I said, at 58.90 area. We'll kind of have to see if we can break that and make our way back up towards that next resistance area, about $60. So few price points towards the upside to keep your eye on crude oil. If we do see that continuation on that stock market side with all these oil companies doing well, could definitely see oil also doing a little bit well here. We've got a little bit of a money divergence here on the 15-minute. We are seeing some nice green buy volume coming on in on the shorter term time frame. Your money flow really trying to maintain some of this green here as well. So keep your eye on that market open. If we can get some money flow to continue to come on in on oil, which wouldn't be too unexpected with everything that's been going on, we could really start breaking some of our resistance and try to make our way back up towards that $60 range. Next real strong area of resistance is up here at like 64.71. If we can make our way above $60.50 there. So keep your eyes on oil. I do expect some reactions out of that one. Also got a little bit of a reaction out of the dollar, not too unexpected as the dollar is tied to oil. So nice push up towards resistance this weekend. And we are seeing quite a bit of toppiness here on the shorter term time frame. So keep your eyes on some of that. We are back up towards resistance as well here on the daily, but the daily's looking extremely nice here. So if we can break above at 98.79 here, we could really get that stronger pushback up towards our golden pocket. Next real resistance areas coming in at 99.74. So few areas towards the upside. We do have some sell volume, but we're just starting to really catch some momentum again. After that push towards our support line, looking pretty nice on the dollar, and with everything going on, could really see some strength coming back into the dollar here. So let's get on over to some of these stock and alt requests this morning. We had several of them. I was looking at NVO this morning. Some news came out about Wegovy. They're going to be selling it on the open market around the world. So could get a little bit of a push towards the upside. I have been buying it. It is a dividend stock. So it's been ranging sideways, doing all right, and paying me money while it ranges sideways. You did get SMR with that nice little clear of liquidity. We were talking about that potential for a move towards the downside before that stronger push up towards what was support for almost 2 years here. As you can see, that was support for quite a while. We were talking about that push back towards our support line, really got that push back towards it, fell through it, tried to clear out a little bit of liquidity, and then we got that bounce back towards support. On the daily time frame, we've got quite a bit of red money flow here. Let's get this demonstration tool pulled up and take a better look at this prime oscillator. As you can see, this money flow has completely fallen off a cliff here. Could definitely see this start to bottom here soon. You've got a little bit of a money flow divergence here. Would like to see some volume start stepping on in on the shorter term time frame to show for some absorption. If you can get back above what was our support line, you could really see some pushes back towards the upside. We'll kind of have to see how that market opens up, because for now that pre-market is right back towards our 236 on our fib extension levels. Nice strong push back above our support line, so we will have to see if we can get that hold in that market open. We do have that 1 hour also looking a little bit toppy here after that little bit of a push towards support, but like we've said before, just because things look toppy doesn't mean you don't see some continuation. And that's exactly what we saw in the pre-market here on this morning. Nice little pushback above our support line, even though things look toppy on the 1 hour. Zooming this on in, you can see this money flow has been extremely red here. I would look for that pre-market to see that push towards the 0 line and see if we can get some buying pressure to step on in. We do have a little bit of a money flow divergence. That was that indicator that you'd probably see that pre-market opening up towards the upside. Doesn't mean we don't still need some cool off, and that's that retest I would really like to see on what was support. So around that $17 price point, as you can see, we got that pushback up towards our support line. Really reclaimed it in the pre-market this morning. Would like to see it confirmed. So if we can hold our support line, we've got a lot of upside potential to really go on SMR. That next real area I'd look for is this CME gap around $18.50. So nice big CME gap to kind of keep your eye on if we can hold our support. That's that big if there. 15-minute and the morning was looking a little bit toppy as well. We did get that nice little cool off on that prime oscillator on the shorter term time frame. MACD could still use a little more cool off, but your indicators here, nice green money flow, very green volume. Would like to see that continue with that market open. That could really give you some continuation off of some support. We do need a little bit of cool off, so kind of keep your eyes on that. We have been talking about some downside potential this morning. It just depends if we get that push first and then move towards support, or if we get that move towards support first and then get that stronger move towards our stronger resistance. So next real area is really around that $18 mark on SMR. Keep your eyes on that. See how that pre-market opens there. We did have another stock to take a look at. I'm assuming it's tied with silver since what you said it was. So let's get this one. SOSI 1. And then obviously stocks. Yep, got that pulled on up here. Dang. So not too unexpected, as this is of silver stock, has been doing quite well. Let's get this zoomed on out to the daily, see what's going on, because we're getting some moves towards the upside. Looking like we've got a few CME gaps to kind of keep your eye on. If we do get a little bit of some cool off, probably going to need a fib extension pulled on up here. Let's get this zoomed on out a little bit further. Actually, we can just pull a fib from our highs to our lows here. So we've got our highs to our lows. Saw that platinum pocket come in as some resistance, trying to do a little bit of a retest on that golden pocket this morning. We'll see if we can hold that as some support. We're looking extremely toppy on the weekly and the daily here, so not too unexpected to see a little bit of some pullback. You're just starting to see that break of money flow back in, so could see that golden pocket hold as some support for a little bit of continuation. We are looking toppy though, so if we do start breaking that golden pocket, we've got a few levels directly towards the downside to keep your eye on. First area is coming in at about 2660, and that ranges all the way down to about 2520. That's that first CME gap to keep your eye on there. We've also got one way down here. Let's see, 20 cents. And all the way to 19 cents. So another area to kind of keep your eyes on. If we break the golden pocket, we can't hold our 50 as some support. That's that next area I'd kind of keep my eye on there. We will kind of have to see how silver reacts, because we did talk about a little bit of some cool off, but we did see the potential for a little bit of a push towards the upside as well. So we'll kind of have to see if we can get that continuation push up. If we do get that continuation push up, we do have that platinum pocket coming in at 34 cents. So that's an area to really look for some stronger resistance for that golden pocket hold. If we continue to see some sell-off on this one, let's get to that hourly here. If we continue to see the sell-off here with your money flow really starting to wane, then you could see that break towards the downside. For now, money flow is looking extremely nice. Your volume's looking extremely nice as well. I would expect for some areas towards the downside to kind of hold on this, especially if silver's going to continue doing well with all the turmoil that's been going on around the petrodollar. Nice strong support below us, golden pocket 27 cents, and then see that stronger push up towards that platinum pocket, or that platinum pocket push first and then see if we make our way back down towards the CME gap. All depends how market really reacts to everything that was going on over the weekend. So 15 minutes and the morning looking extremely cooled off. So nice ability for that push back up towards our platinum pocket area. Like we've been saying across the board, could see that push towards the upside, or could see that continuation towards the downside for that stronger push towards the upside there. So you got those levels called on out here, 20 cents to 19 cents, and then the one up here, 26.5 to about 25.15. Those are those few areas towards the downside to look for some support at. We'll have to see if we get to push up first, or if we get to continuation towards the downside and then the push towards the upside. So we've got a few more people in the house this morning. We've got Jay Violet in here. We've got Offshore Miner. We've got Curtis Hill in the house. Good morning to you guys. Hope you're having a great day so far. If you've got those clog emojis, go ahead and drop them in there for Mark Dutch. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's see. BC, are you doing big dog guy or little chihuahua? Okay, so me personally, I like big dogs. My favorite dog is like a German Shepherd Husky mix. They're really nice. They're really protective. They've really got a lot of high energy, so you can get out there and have fun with them. My girl has like a little chihuahua mix, which it's been kind of nice because it just like sits on your lap and chills out. But I like high energy dogs, so I like big dogs. I also think the point of a dog is to have something that could protect you in those instances where you need a dog to protect you, and Chihuahuas can't do that. So that's also been my that's also why I favor big dogs. You know, I feel like the point of having a dog is that extra protection. So let's get into some of these alt requests. I have a black German Shepherd. That sounds fun. Probably extremely high energy and also a little bit talkative. Chihuahua, they only have high energy, annoying barks. Basically, he'll hear the garage door or something. He'll know that someone's there, and he won't move, but he'll be really loud about it, and it's so annoying. It's like, could you just go do something about it? Like, go over there and say it over there. But no, he'll just lay there all lazy style and just bark extremely annoyingly. And I'm like, thanks for letting me know. We all knew what was going on here, but could you protect me or something if there's actually something going on instead of just letting me know what I already know? Oh, he's something else. Let's see. We got Pepe requested, Tao requested, Arrow, and Pump. We probably got a few more alt requests we could fit on in there. We got Al Jr. in the house. Good morning. Dogs are more for alerting rather than safety. Big dogs can't survive knife wounds either. I mean, it really depends on your breed. So German Shepherds, they can actually do quite a bit. Some of your more like Dobermans, a Doberman could, depending on where, could really handle some shiznit. But a Chihuahua's not going to handle anything. it is a nice alarm system, but sometimes alarm systems are a little bit annoying. So really just depends on your breed, because I know there's tons of stories out there about police dogs that handle business and also got hurt at the same time. That is a little bit of training, but I used to have a big dog and it was trained extremely well. So it really just depends on your breed of dog and then how well you've trained it, things like that. German Shepherds have one of the strongest bites. Yeah, that's why I've been a big fan of German Shepherds. But you also got to temper out some of that German Shepherd aggression. And so that's why I like the Husky mix in there. It's a little bit playful, it's a little bit happy with people, but also at the same time, a little bit tentative about people. So anytime the dog met someone new, you really, really had to have that introduction first before it was like, okay, you're chill around the house. Let's see. Crude oil gonna pump after Trump's little party. That's what we've been talking about this morning. We did see some oil stocks getting some nice moves towards the upside. Gold, silver got some nice moves. And I started out the show saying it looks like 2026 is the reclaiming of the petrodollar year. So we'll have to see how the rest of the market reacts to it, because we've seen this play before. And even though you get forced to the table, doesn't mean you're happy about it. So we did see XLM requested, and XLM was was already pulled on up here on my alt page. So let's get this pulled on up on that daily time frame, see what's going on here, and see if we can get a little bit of some continuation. We are above that resistance area that we were calling out. That was 22 cents. We saw a lot of resistance at that area on that 4 hour. Just a hunch. What was JR saying? Let's see. Probably towards the oil. Maybe. I mean, we did see the dollar also making a nice strong move towards resistance. And, the dollar and oil, no surprise, are tied together on those movements because of the petrodollar. So plenty of potential to get some movements towards the upside. I do think some of the stock market's going to be punished for that, seeing a little bit of some sell off in that pre-market on some of these stocks. But oil stocks doing all right, the dollar doing all right. We'll kind of have to see how that market reacts on market open. XLM looking a little bit toppy on the daily, so I would like to see that confirmation of some support here at 22 cents. Seeing a little bit of sell off, not too unexpected. We have been seeing a mixed bag this morning. Let's get to that 4 hour, see things a little bit better. So as we said, this was our 4 hour resistance that we broke above. We do see a little bit of toppiness here on our 4 hour. A little bit of indecision on that MACD. Let's get this zoomed on in just a little bit. We are seeing that curvature here on that MACD line. We do see that indicator line running a little bit sideways. We have been getting some nice cool off here on the prime oscillator. Could look to see that continue towards the downside just a little bit here. We've got some nice buy volume though, so kind of look for a little bit of some absorption coming down towards the downside. About 22.5 cents will be that first area I'd kind of look for some absorption at. See if we can get that continuation push back up towards 24 cents. That's that next real area we were keeping our eye on. And we will have to see if we can get some price reaction at that price point. We are looking nice and cooled off here on the hourly with this sideways momentum. Let's get our I guess I don't have it up here. Let's get our sessions pulled on up. There we go. So as you can see, Asia and London have been trading a little bit sideways through all of this. Could definitely see that stronger push towards the downside. We would have to break our support at 23 cents though. We have been holding that quite nicely through all of this sideways push. Let's get our horizontal rate drawn on up on the shorter term time frame. You've got that little bit of a deviation in that London session between the London session this morning before we got that strong push up. We're looking to potentially come back down towards that. That'd be our nice strong support to really see that push off of if we don't hold 22 cents, basically 23 cents. Looking for that pushback down to 22.5 would be the move to kind of watch for. We are looking a little bit toppy on the higher term time frame, hourly looking nice and cooled off, but the 15-minute seeing some sideways momentum come on in. MACD ranging a little bit sideways underneath our zero line here. Pretty much what we've seen this morning as well. We're seeing a little bit of sideways of momentum coming on in on that prime oscillator as well, but you've got some sell volume here. So kind of keep your eye on how New York Open reacts. We are seeing a little bit of stagnation. We could see that stronger push towards our support and then a push towards the upside, or a push towards the upside and then a stronger move down. So area towards the upside to kind of keep your eye on for a break would be about 23.30. That's been London highs. I would like to see us sweep Asia. That would be that next real area towards the upside, about 23 and a half cents. So few areas towards the upside. We got a few areas towards the downside as well. This all really depends on how market reacts. And it's kind of hard to tell how market's going to react on that open with all the turmoil that was going on. So we got a few other alt requests to go over. We had Pepe. So let's get to that one. I know it's on my list here somewhere. There we go. Pepe. And someone asked for 1,000 Pepe, and that's just getting rid of all those zeros there. So this has 5 zeros in front of it. You can take that for what it's worth on the 1,000 Pepe. Let's get this zoomed on out on that daily time frame, see what's going on. All of that old TA, Jesus. Let's delete some of this, clean it on up there. Clean that up, clean this up. That was resistance. We are well below it. We would get that break above that. We'll kind of have to see. We broke below our one line on our fibs. Let's get a new fib line pulled on up here. See where we could go with some horizontals. So we got our highs to our lows here. This was our high. We've got a low down here. We did maintain some of that. We are above the 236 here. So we'll kind of have to see if we get that support off of the 236 after this nice push towards resistance. We got that nice push towards resistance first. That was 5 zeros at 747. So nice resistance area. We'll kind of have to see if we can get that break above it. And then that push towards our 382, which happens to be 50813, which is also this line that we had pulled on up. So let's get the support line deleted so that we can see the 236 a little bit better there. So the 382 a little bit better. So that's that 382 we're kind of looking for towards the upside. We'll have to see if we can break above our resistance. Things are looking a little bit toppy here on the daily, but that doesn't mean you can't continue. So keep your eyes on some of that market open. Hourly is getting a little bit of some cool off here. We're starting to see our bottoming indicators. I would like to see a stronger push towards the downside, but this could be it. You know, we did get that nice little oversold signal. Could see a little more of a continuation towards the downside. See that bounce again at 50660. That'd be that next real bounce area to kind of watch for. It was a resistance on Asia. We got that break above it. Really saw that pushback towards it. Could sweep below that as well. So keep your eyes on this right here. If we break below that with London, looking for that 236 to really come in as some support before that move back up towards what is resistance. So few things to kind of keep your eye on. Market could react either way with that open. We're seeing a little bit of some iffiness here on the 15-minute, but we are starting to catch a little bit of momentum. We do have our London highs coming in as resistance, really failing to get through that big 15-minute candle there. As you can see, we only made our way to the midline before we started to see some resistance, so could really see that stronger roll over before that better push towards the upside there. So things looking a little bit toppy here on the 15-minute, getting that sideways momentum coming on in. Aren't seeing any reversal signals here on the shorter term time frame, so I would like to see that push below and then see a stronger push towards the upside. Kind of that secondary, that first favorable move that we were looking for across the board here. So that was Pepe for you. Let's see. My Yorkie is precious. Oh, my yolk is precious. Oh, y'all talking about some eggs. Let's see. Sunny side up. Ugh. No, I like over hard. So that's my move. Or I made a bunch of breakfast bowls. So the scrambled eggs, some sausage, some potatoes, a little bit of cheese, and a lot of flavor. So trying to go a little protein heavy this year, at least at the start. See how that works out. We had Tao requested. Let's get this one up. We are seeing a little bit of toppiness here on the higher term time frame as well. Let's get this zoomed on up to that daily looking extremely toppy. We got that nice little bounce off of our platinum pocket here. Over hard, only big dogs. The questionable choices continue. Hey, you know what? That's the nice thing about difference of people. Everyone's got a little bit of a different style. I like eggs over hard. I don't like runny yolks. There's just something about that texture that just throws me off. And texture to me is a really big part of food. That's why I can't do mushrooms or olives. There's just something about that sliminess that just doesn't sit well with me. So we got a nice little bounce off of that platinum pocket here on Tau. We do have some resistance above us at about 308. We'll kind of have to see if we can get some continuation. For now, looking like we are seeing a little bit of toppiness at what was support. So we'll have to see if we can get that rollover here on the daily time frame, or if on the shorter term time frame we're going to see that resistance come on in. We do see a few areas for some bouncing directly below us. First one's coming in at about 246. That would be a nice little clear of some of this liquidity. Holds what was resistance as some support here. So 245-ish. Let's get that pulled on up here. That was Asia. That was London and New York highs from there before New York PM really got that push towards the upside in continuation with Asia. So that would be a nice little area to come back down to. Really depends on how things are going to react on that higher term time frame. Hourly could see a little bit of continuation here. We've got a few areas in our shorter term time frame to look for some bouncing at as well. We have held this sideways range right here quite nicely. Could see that break below to try to sweep up some liquidity though. So about 257. That's where we got most of our price action at in this area. That's that first area to kind of keep your eye on. If we don't hold that, looking for our stronger bounce towards the downside before we try to make our way back up to 308. That's that area way up there that we could potentially get up to if we can clear out some of this short-term liquidity. 15-minute and the morning, seeing a little bit of some bounce action, but we've got some sell volume here that we've got to contend with. So really looking for these London highs to come in as some resistance. You do have the mid area here as well that could be resistance at about 263 for a stronger push towards the downside to wait for that New York AM open. So if we can break that, I would look for that stronger push towards the upside first before we get that continuation towards the downside. So those are those two moves I'm kind of watching for this morning. Either a push towards the upside to see that stronger correction, or that push towards the downside to see that stronger push towards the upside there. Dushy BC said he's going protein heavy this year. Hey, at least I'm not going sugar heavy. That's what my girl's son has been doing. He's eaten like basically nothing but candy this year. So at least I'm making some good choices. Let's see. We've got Arrow and Pump. we'll try to get through Arrow real quick and see if we got Pump as well. So Arrow, and I guess I didn't have it on the list there. So Aerodrome on Coinbase. Pretty sure that's, yep, boom, that's what I did my charting on. So let's get this zoomed on out, see what's going on that daily time frame. Held the zero line on our fibs quite nicely. Came back down towards it, move up towards what was support, seeing it come in as a little bit of resistance. Daily looking extremely iffy here. You've got your money flow really getting that strong break towards the downside. Pretty much fell off a cliff there, but you do have a little bit of divergence on that. So your volume is starting to pick back up. We'll kind of have to see if we can break above our current levels here at about 60 cents for that push up towards 75-ish. So keep your eyes on some of that. I should do a mushroom stream someday. Jesus, JR. Is that even legal? I did have mushroom coffee. That's about as mushroomy as I get, you know. Trying that Rise coffee. It's actually been pretty nice. It doesn't taste terrible, and I actually feel a whole lot better than drinking a bunch of coffee every morning. So I'll let you all know how that goes. I am looking at mud water though, so we'll see. Once I finish Rise, I want to try some mud water because that has a little more caffeine in it, and but I do like caffeine. So we'll see how this market opens here. We are looking a little bit cooled off here on the hourly. You've got your money flow acting really iffy. You've got that break below our zero line, back above our zero line, back below the zero line, getting a little bit of a curve. We'll kind of have to see if this prime oscillator can get some continuation because your volume's starting to step back in here as well. I would look for a little bit of sweep below London. Just depends if we get that push up first and then a sweep below London, or if we get that sweep below London and then a push towards the upside. So we've got some resistance directly above us at about 62 cents. I would look for that to get broken. That's that Asia high. We're pretty much looking for those to get swept across the board. It just depends if we sweep first and then sweep towards the downside, or if we sweep towards the downside and then sweep towards the upside. So we do see a little bit of a divergence here on that 15-minute as well. I don't know why that's in the red there. We've got some green money flow, but your volume's a little bit iffy here. So definitely could see a little bit of some absorption towards the downside. We are at that iffy point on that prime oscillator. MACD at that iffy point as well, as we're seeing this extremely sideways momentum. So could see that push towards the upside first towards 63 cents, and then that correction towards the downside below about 56 cents. So those are the two areas to kind of keep your eye on. It just depends what happens after this London session. If we see that sweep above London highs and then that push towards the downside to kind of sweep Asia, or if we see that stronger push above Asia and then that stronger move towards the downside. So those are pretty much the two moves I'm looking for. Market's going to react one way or another with that open, with everything that happened, and it's just kind of how the sentiment is, which has been really hard to read. You know, some countries are like, yay, good job, America, and then other countries are like, how could you possibly do this? So really hard to kind of gauge this one here. We are seeing a pump get some nice strong sell-off, holding those Asia lows here. Let's get a short-term fib pulled on up and see what's going on, because I've never done TA on pump. I don't really mess with coins like this. So let's see. We've got our highs to our low here. Let's see what is going on. We've got highs to low, a little way off, about 236. So let's get a shorter term time frame pulled on up here. Got that push up towards the 382 before we saw that resistance. Let's zoom this on in, see what's going on there. getting that midline hold between the 236 and the 382, seeing if we can get that pushback towards the upside. Things are looking a little bit bottomy here on the hourly. You're maintaining some of your money flow here. We'll kind of have to see if we can get that buy volume to step on in on the shorter term time frame. If not, looking for a sweep below our lows at 0021. And then see if you can get that push back up towards a 382 at 00234. So seeing this coming as some resistance, that's at 382. If we can get above that 382, we've got a little more resistance back up at about 00241. So that's that secondary resistance area. We'll kind of have to see if we can make our way back up towards it. We got that nice little double top at it, nice little cool off, flagging out just a little bit here, so could definitely see that stronger push below the lows here. See if we can sweep up some liquidity. I would expect a little more liquidity below 00212. That's where we see our nice little lows from back here. Horizontal ray drawn on up. So there's that one. Let's get this one drawn on up. This would be your liquidity area to kind of keep your eye on. See if we can get a bounce in that area. It is flagging on out. If we continue to lose our volume, see that sell volume come on in, could definitely see that stronger push towards the downside. So things are a little bit iffy here on this market open. Be prepared. You could see some volatility towards the downside and the upside. Just kind of have to see if we make our way towards those bounce points first, or if we make our way up to those resistance areas and then our way back towards the pump areas. So pretty much seeing the same signs across the board. Could go towards the upside, could go towards the downside. Just depends. If we go towards the upside first, look for harsher corrections. If we make our way towards support first, look for nice strong pumps towards the upside. So really could react to either way with all the turmoil that's been going on with that petrodollar. I'm sure JR's got his stream all set up now, so we will send y'all over to him. Let's see if he's got it set on up. Let's see, redirect. Oh, yep, looks like he's live now. So got that redirect all set up to JR stream. I appreciate y'all tuning on in today. I will see y'all at the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got Trading with OC at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until next time, make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.